Well, hello, and welcome to After the Show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, and I hope that you enjoyed Warren's episode this week. He's so funny. He made me laugh out loud several times. I just really love Warren. I hope that you had a lot of takeaways. I certainly did. As always, I actually just got back from a walk outside. It's beautiful here in Colorado today. Listen to Warren's episode. And at first I was thinking, I feel like I got to talk about tariffs. Look, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The big conversation is tariffs, and it will impact us. It will impact us from a consumer standpoint. It's obviously going to impact retailers, our manufacturers. There's a lot going on there. I do not consider myself a tariffs expert. I started doing some research, and obviously I think it's really important for retailers to have a plan for you to do your own research. I feel like the thing that's really challenging right now as I'm filming this in March is that it changes every single day. And it's very hard to keep up with, and you just don't know where it's going to go. So I just think it's really important for us to focus on the things that we can control. You might start looking at vendors and suppliers in other countries that don't have these kinds of tariffs to, support your price points with your customers. You could do some negotiations. I really do feel like this is where, for independent retailers, the power of in-person and the power of events and maybe even adding a service aspect to your business. There's a lot of different things you could do. And I was going to turn this whole episode into that. And then I got an email from Management One, our partners over there, that they're doing a webinar about tariffs on March 27th. And they know a lot more than I do. So I rather let the experts speak to it. So I'm going to link to their webinar in the show notes. You can also probably go to management-one.com, but just click on the link in the show notes, register for that. They send a replay out. So if you can't attend live, but I think it's really important that we learn and just try to keep up with that world. So I'm not going to talk about tariffs here, but I will be going to that webinar. We will talk more about it on the show when I can bring on some experts and some more people. And then when we have some more information, I guess, too. So switching gears there, part of me wanted to talk about the power of looking at a retail store through a tech company lens. Warren in this episode talked about Bed Bath & Beyond, how they did a lot of testing and they weren't afraid to fail. And that is very much like a tech mindset, like a software company tech mindset. And I just want to plant the seed. I think that would actually make a really cool AI prompt where you could go to ChatGPT and say, you are one of the top tech, firms or executives or founders or investors in the world, or in Silicon Valley, since we know that's where a lot of them are. Help me analyze my retail store through the lens of tech. How could I be more agile? How could I provide new experiences, customer experiences? What are the gaps I'm missing? Run a SWOT analysis on my store. There's so many different things you could ask it. But me, I think that when we ask different questions, especially using AI, we could get different answers and we could get new creative things that we just haven't thought about. And so that I'm just planting that seed. I'm not going to go deeper on it, but I think you should go deeper on it. And I think you should use that prompt and have some fun with it, because I think it will be pretty fascinating, actually. What I want to talk about here is LinkedIn. We don't talk about LinkedIn at all on the show. And that was Warren's best retail technology, like an app or software. He talked about LinkedIn. And I really do think that there are opportunities for retailers to leverage LinkedIn. And we haven't really talked about it because, yes, it is a B2B platform, business to business, and our retailers are business to consumer. So you don't necessarily have the shoppers there. You're not going to be doing the live selling there. You're not going to necessarily be posting pictures of product every day. But there could certainly be opportunities for you, depending on your business, depending on your location, and depending on the people that you are trying to reach and serve. And so I just wanted to go through a list of some of the ways that retailers can leverage and use LinkedIn. And then what would be great for you to do is to do some of your own research. Go to LinkedIn, spend an hour there, search for different keywords and people and companies and people in your town, your city location, different groups, just to get a feel for it if you've never been in there before. Okay, so LinkedIn is known for thought leadership. You have a lot of people there who are sharing their ideas. They're sharing industry news, breaking news, business information. Like, depending again on your store, this could be a place for thought leadership. If you are a jeweler and you really want to be known as the diamond expert or, some sort of expert or the go-to source for your industry, no matter what, industry you are in, this is a really great place to do that because you'll start being recognized as that thought leader where you could post that content on Instagram, but your customers might, I don't know, some of them might like it. It might build some credibility, but that kind of conversation of the thought leadership, the ideas, the industry news, big thinking, challenging ideas, things like that, articles that you might write, those work really well over on LinkedIn. And when we position ourselves as a thought leader, it can often open new doors, give us new opportunities, connect us to new people. You might be invited to speak at a local event. For example, in my mastermind, one of the mastermind people, her name is Chris, and she has a local business and she was invited by Chase because Chase Bank put on a local business seminar and had a panel and they had some of the local businesses. Well, then she did so good on that panel that she's being asked to go and speak at another panel. And so that's just one example how you can get some of that thought leadership easier and faster over on LinkedIn that then could turn into all these ripples to help you be 15-mile famous, which we definitely want to be looking through that lens. And if you don't know what I mean, then listen to other podcast episodes because I talk all about being 15-mile famous in them. Okay, next up, often you see a lot of people connecting. They're requesting the connection. There's a lot of networking happening. There's also a lot of spams. I get so many messages, people trying to sell me XYZ, and it's all cold messages. They don't know me. I really don't use the messages at all. And actually, it's become a problem because some real people who do know me and are trying to connect with me message me and I miss it because I have so many spam messages over there too. So just, heads up, that does happen on LinkedIn. Don't be one of those people. Add value, share your posts, share other people's posts, comment on other people's posts, find people that you want to connect with and connect with them and engage with their content. If you have something more meaningful or deeper, then of course, comment them, but don't do a copy paste message to everybody, inviting them into your store. Have it be a little bit more thoughtful. Like, hey, I'm a small business in this town too. I didn't realize that you just opened, or congrats on the new opening, or is the construction on blah, blah, blah impacting your business at all? Like, have meaningful conversations there. It's always great to network with other local businesses. Also, you could network and find new reps on LinkedIn to find new lines you want to sell. You could find new brands, new vendors, new manufacturers. Like if you're trying to find a contact at a company that you're wanting to kind of get in with, however you want to get in. It could be from a product perspective. You want to sell the line. It could be from a partnership perspective. It could be from an influencing perspective. It could be like a collaboration that you do. It could just be a corporate client. Maybe you're trying to get a couple of bigger fish that you want to partner with. Maybe you're a gift shop or you have a subscription model and you want a local corporation to offer your wellness bundle that you have to all of their employees. Use this to identify those businesses, those people, and then connect and network. That's, kind of the core of what LinkedIn is. The other side, I think that LinkedIn is most known for is hiring, job recruiting, recruitment. And that's where if you have more activity, thought leadership, engagement, more posts, you have more reviews, then you might look like a more attractive store that if an employee is searching to work at, that they might be really interested in your company, especially if they're looking locally and you're really known locally and you have this great, rich LinkedIn profile and you're a thought leader, they might be really hungry to work with you. So that's where you could post jobs. I believe that you can also search to see if people are looking. I've never really used LinkedIn from a hiring perspective, but if you are hiring, you could go to the platform. You can understand more about the job aspect. You can pay to list jobs. You can also just do a post. And this is where it's great. If you are kind of that thought leader and you are engaging and you have this network of people, then when you post a job or you post an ask or something that you need, you already have this warmed up audience that you can talk to. This can also be a place if, you are trying to attract talent, which is sort of, I don't see a lot of our retailers doing this, but it could be practical for some. If you're trying to attract talent by showcasing your company culture, your store culture, if you do any kind of fun things, whatever. Speaking of fun things, this is such a random, but right before I hit record, Southwest on the app sent me a notification and it says, it's officially Wanna Go Wednesday. You have access to our lowest fares for last minute travel. I bring this up because I looked at my phone and made me think of this right before I recorded. It's called Wanna Go Wednesdays. Okay. It's officially Wanna Go Wednesday. You can make anything up. Like if you need to drive sales in today, then make up a day. It's Wednesday. What can you do? Use AI to come up with something fun. Ideally, you have a little bit more time. You're not doing it like in the middle of the day and you're planning that. Like ideally, pick a day. Say, we're going to do this. We're going to drive more traffic next Monday by having it be blah, blah, blah Monday. I mean, like you literally could just make up anything and then market it. And it makes for something that's more interesting, more catchy. And it made me think like, I want to go somewhere on Wednesday, like it's just all about marketing. You got to be top of mind. Southwest is top of mind. They texted me just a random made up date. Anyways, moving on. Don't be afraid to just make stuff up and market it because the big boxes do it and it converts. Okay. Going back over to our culture. Oh, that's why. Also culture, Southwest, like, they have so much fun. They show a lot of personality on their social media. That's what made me sync it back to Southwest. So there you go. Okay. Now, if you are just kind of going back to the corporate sponsors, corporate gift giving, things like that from a B2B perspective, if you have maybe a lead gen that you could give them, this is where you post a link. It sends people to your website. They download it by giving their email address, their first name, maybe their job title, if you're wanting to know who you're talking to. And then you're giving them something in exchange. And for a lot of retailers, your lead magnet is often a discount or, a dollar off or something like that or free gift. But on LinkedIn, is there something you could give that adds value? It's educational. It teaches. It's inspiring. It's beautiful. It's helpful. Maybe it's for conference event planners and you've created this awesome checklist for them, but you've got all the rental gear for them to rent from you. So, it's attached to your business. I got this event checklist. And if you need rental equipment, I've got it. So that's a really great way to build leads on LinkedIn. Also for events. Like if you do in-store events, I think you should post those to LinkedIn. It only takes a couple extra minutes. And ideally, you have been posting there and you have been networking. You're not only just promoting yourself. You're not only logging in just to share an event, but there is a local focus on LinkedIn. And if you are connected to locals, then you should absolutely share your events there. It does not hurt at all. Also, if you get any kind of press, if you're in the news, I would share that information on LinkedIn. If you write a press release, I would share that to LinkedIn because you might also have some local press or magazines that could even be nationwide and that you might connect with because you want press that see your post about your press release and they end up picking it up. Lots of things you could do there. Also, LinkedIn's got groups. And so you can search for different keywords like retail, your town, local, small business. Like I would go more focused on your type of store, the type of products you sell, or maybe you have a specific need that you're looking to fill. Maybe you want leadership training. So you could search leadership. Lots of great groups. These are free. And it's kind of like Facebook groups where you could join the conversation and ask questions and post and just build relationships and also get support. So groups could be something that you want to check out as well. And then finally, you might find customers here. You might connect with customers. You might spotlight customers. You might share customer reviews, customer testimonials. That adds credibility. So I just feel like, if you're really questioning, maybe LinkedIn could be good for us, go to ChatGPT and put in your store type and where you're located and what your goals are and who your customers are, and ask for advice. If I were to use LinkedIn, what should I do? Where should I start? Even just having an optimized profile with the right keywords. And honestly, I would spend a couple of hours on your profile. That way you're getting found when other people are searching for you. That can be really great. We want to make sure that we pop up top of feed if they're searching for your store, your products, or your background. So that is just sort of like a LinkedIn mini class, if you will. I just think that there is potential, and I personally am just getting a lot out of LinkedIn. I mean, personally, but for my business, I do see retailers that are on there. They're working with their reps. They're talking about products. They're asking questions. And so this could be a place for you. It's worth checking out. I hope you enjoyed Warren's episode. Go register for the Management One Tariffs webinar. If this is past March 27th, you could still try to go to that link. Hopefully it redirects somewhere. It's not our webinar, so I can't make any guarantees on what's going to happen there with that experience, but hopefully you catch this soon enough. This is why you should listen after the show, right when it drops, because I've got timely information in these things. All right, I'm ready for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.